to get the police department out of the basement. My feeling is, we need to really take a hard look at that original proposal to blow out the back, because Carolyn came up with some, I always ask Carolyn, what do you think? And she came up with some great ideas. One of the main ideas would be to reallocate space in the municipal building as it exists, and not have to really add on $1 million or $2 million addition, and reallocate offices and maybe some of down that way to accommodate some of the PD up here. So, I don't know how you guys feel about that. I think maybe we should probably put together a subcommittee to study that, because if we're gonna go for a grant, which we can, we would need to have architectural drawings and things like that in order to, because there's a certain portion that the township would be responsible for, and they would also want to, hey, what do you have in mind when you do submit the grant? They need to know some more detail than what we currently have from that just basic discussions that we've had.
So within the building would mean that the filing cabinets downstairs would be
So Carolyn,
eliminated, and then that would be digitally stored somehow.
correct.
At a cost.
Yeah, well,
Approximately $150,000, yeah, digitize all the records in the basement. Approximately.
So
we would get that, we would put that in the grant.
So would you work with an architect and have two designs going, or one design going? One for an expansion out, and one for internal, or?
I'm all about saving as much money as we can, because, you know, I was up at Washington Township today at a meeting on the Board of Public Utilities, and they have a brand new PD building. And then I was talking to Clinton, the town of Clinton. Theirs was $4 million just for the police department building. They got a grant for it, but it was $4 million. So,
Yeah, that's not gonna fly.
I don't, you know, if I got a whole grant for $4 million, okay, maybe, but if the township has to, that's a lot of money for us. Correct.
Whether you get it or not.
Right.
Well, I think you're gonna have to start with an architect, right, of some nature, to get some ideas thrown out there. And the idea right now is renovating within. Right?
Well, thanks to Carolyn, she was thinking outside the box, and she said, I have an idea, and I said, what is it? She said, why don't we reallocate the space here in the municipal building and make use of it, because there's an office there that was a conference room that we hardly use, there's another one in the back. There's a way we could reconfigure upstairs.
That would be to
You could have
digitalize all our.
we would still utilize some of the downstairs space, but you'd have like a washroom so that our female police officers can change without being in the same room as the male officers and things like that.
You know, along those lines, is there some report or memo or whatever that details the inadequacies of the current setup?
No, that's why we haven't done enough of a study on
Right, but before you start trying to have architects design bump outs versus this and that, what are we trying to do? Like, what's the problem with the existing facility? I wanna,
Have you ever been downstairs?
no.
Well, I'll
But
get
just,
you down there.
well, whether I have or I haven't,
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter, in the sense that this body, and I guess the public at some point should understand what are the problems that we're trying to solve, and those should be very clearly articulated. Not just, well, it's really not that good, I mean, it has to be more definite than that, right? And I understand, you know, anecdotally, you could say, well, you can't have the female officers changing for male officers, and that's true, yeah, but, okay, but does that justify bumping out and building a new building? I don't think so, right?
No.
So we need to have a more clear and complete, you know, I call it a report, call it a memo, whatever, from somebody who is familiar with all of this. I don't know that it needs to be an architect, I mean, you could get an architect, but I don't think you need an architect. You're really aiming it at the functionality of the place, I assume, right? So I would think the chief could come up with that.
Well, we could have a subcommittee from this committee, and then work in conjunction with the chief.
But that's fine.
Check off what they think they need and what we're willing to entertain,
All right, all I'm
and
saying,
then get to the architect.
yeah, I would do that first, and then
Would you like to be part of the subcommittee?
Not especially, but I will if I need to. I mean, I have a number of other things that I'm
I got
quite
it,
involved with, so.
Tom. Yeah, you're like a good building kind of guy.
I'd join, for sure.
And I just want people to know the female police officer she can change in the bathroom. I don't want
She
people to
can,
think that
she
she's
can.
out there changing with the men,
No,
you know,
she
so.
can.